Hi, I'm Commissioner Bullows, here to recap our meeting that was held on Tuesday, September 2nd. Before I get started with my guest, I want to just give a shout out to the new businesses that we approved licenses for. One was a printing and shipping company, there was a screen printing and embroidery company, and also a water well drilling company. So we're always excited to have new businesses in our county. Today I have with me to talk about, not really an agenda item, but it was our Employee of the Month. We call it a Stall of Fame, and we awarded that to Brady from the Assessor's office. So I invited him to come here and talk about what he does in his office and his job. That was really the catalyst for that award. And so Brady, will you talk to us about the tax roll, what that is and how you close it out?
Yeah, so what is the tax roll and how is it closed out? Closing the tax roll happens in May and June, late May, early June, and it's really the capstone or the end result of an extraordinary amount of effort that builds up to it throughout the whole year, that begins at the closing of the previous tax roll. The tax roll, you can just think of it as our big database of all of the properties and their characteristics in the county. Closing the roll is you can kind of think of it as taking a snapshot of the data that we have in our system. The snapshot is really grounded to a particular date. It's January 1st, and the snapshot isn't just freezing the characteristics that we've picked up for all of the properties if things have changed, but it's also, when the roll is closed, it's locking in our predicted values for all of the properties in the county. That process, I said, it takes a team of people working all throughout the year. They're doing a variety of things. There are appraisers going out in the field. They're trying to pick up those changes and record them into the database. There are teams that are evaluating sales and studying market trends. And all of that feeds into this closing of the roll process that's really at the end. And the whole point of that is not just to produce market value predictions, which we're guided towards by statute, but also by statute, we're importantly trying to do that equitably, fairly. There's lots of guidance from the state. In fact, we get a report card after the roll close. Ours was pretty good, I'm proud to say. And that, I think, is, hopefully I've answered your question. That's the tax roll is closing, is snapshotting that data for the purpose of producing market values that are, we hope, equitable.
Yeah, and then those values are shared with other offices in the county so that they could, it becomes important for a property owner because that's what determines me as a property owner, what my portion of property tax revenue is. So the values are really important.
Yeah, and we call the value of all of it, all the property in the county, the value base. Our work product is handed off to other offices, the auditor's office, the treasurer's office, and they use that work product to apportion the tax burden to the property owners throughout the county, and it's those taxes that come in that fund the things that we enjoy in the county, the roads, first responders, and parks, and all the other things that we enjoy. So it's an important process. It's a complex process that I've tried to briefly summarize.
And now we know it's a year-long process, so
yes.
it's a lot of work that the Assessor's office does. So thanks for joining us and giving some clarity and information on that. I appreciate it. We'll see you next week.